Hello, humans and pets. Today, we're going to be eating some food.
Some food. So what? No ramen? We're gonna eat the food.
Well, we did the messy.
Yeah, we had a little miscalculation on the size in the pan compared to the size of the bowl. There you'll see we have two different bowls because we have one big one and we have a couple other good sized
Medium
ones, but they're not as big as that. And I tried to fit it. Well, it did. It fit
Exactly.
But then I wouldn't have been able to get it up here without, and it did spill some, so we had to clean it up. But anyways, when we were in the store the other day, we had found this ramen. It is a Shin ramen.
Yeah.
Which is supposed to be a better. This wasn't with the regular ramen noodles. We were in the Walmart. It was actually with like the ethnic section where we found all the other good stuff we found. So when I seen it, I was like, oh, I've heard of it, but I've never had it. So it comes like the normal ramen, but it's in a circle instead of a square. And then it has a, and they almost look like they're...
It has vegetables.
It had a little vegetable packet, and it had a
mix
packet. Right.
Like the soup pot.
So it comes in, you look at my receipt line. I don't think it was super expensive. It came in a 4-pack instead of a 5-pack. They look like this when it comes out. It might have been mildly more expensive than the other one. But in theory, people say it has a lot more taste. It is spicy. This one is spicy. It looked like this, and this was their 4-pack. So we picked some up, and I've been kind of dying to try them because I every once in a while, especially in the winter, I like a little soup, and I like the ramen anyways, and I usually doctor them and flavor them up anyways. But can you not find it?
I can't find it. There is one for $2.98, but I don't think that's it.
Does it say ramen on it?
No, there's nothing that says. Oh, right here, Shin Ramen. $3.76.
$3.76 for a 4-pack, so it's still under $1 a package. So
Which is pretty good.
That's actually good. I thought it would be a little bit more. I know when I got if you can go back to our first video, we did a spicy. It was a spicy ramen. I actually ordered that.
It was one of our first.
I ordered that one.
These we found in the store.
They were like $5 a piece when I ordered it because I ordered
but they
like
were
5
really
of them.
good.
It was really good.
Yeah, you should show them.
The what?
The meal.
Yeah, so when it's cooked, it's hard to, without spilling it on you, it looks like this. It did have a little vegetable package in it, and it did have a flavor packet in it. And this one you make like a soup. It doesn't have just the liquid that came out. And it just came off boiling, so I'm sure it's scorching hot. So in theory, we probably should have been smart enough to wait a couple minutes, but there's no fun in that.
Yeah,
so
what's fun?
We figured we would go right at it, and we'll see what it tastes like.
Yeah,
see if it is better than the regular ramen. We do have another ramen down there that we got. That was a spicy beef that we haven't tried yet.
We have not.
All right, well, let's give it a try, I guess. I'm trying to see what his opinion. I want to see what he says. Right off the bat, I can say it does have a nice little spice. It has a nice spice to it. It's not. I'm going to say it's in between all the ramens we've tried.
Yeah.
It's spicier than we did a second one.
Spicy.
It's spicier than the second one we did, but not nearly as spicy as the first one we did. But the first one had an actual, if you go back and see some of our videos, I bought an actual hot sauce, and it had the actual hot sauce as the flavoring.
It has a really good taste.
The noodles seem to have a little more texture to me, more spaghetti-esque on the noodles than the normal everyday ramen noodle. And that's what happened on the first one we bought too. There was a decisive difference between
the noodle itself.
You gotta watch this. You're gonna spill.
Am I making a mess?
Soup. I don't care about the mess. If you pour that on your lap, you are not gonna be happy though.
Yeah, that would not be.
This is scorching hot. So,
it is hot.
The noodles definitely do, and I do like the vegetables. The little vegetables add a nice little flavor.
And they're fun.
That's like if you're I will say the noodles too, as you cook it in with the salt, the flavor, they actually sucked up a lot of the spice flavor.
Yeah, the spice and the vegetable flavor.
Yeah.
It has a nice taste to it.
The soup itself does actually.
This is fun.
This one's actually
pretty good.
actually pretty good. It's about the same price. I like the spiciness of it. Normally, when I do one of these, I'll add more liquid, and then I'll put in like onion powder and garlic powder and my own hot pepper and spice it up myself. But this one really has enough flavor. You really didn't have to do anything to this one.
I like the vegetables in it. I'm a big fan of like the cup of soups and that little like dehydrated vegetables.
You never eat them though.
No, I don't eat them, but I like them. I like them a lot. I don't eat them a lot.
Yeah.
I like them because I like the noodles, but they are salty. This isn't that salty. That's why I like this one. I don't taste insane amounts of salt.
It does have a nice spice to it though, because that one just hit me in the back of the throat. But I was gonna say I do like the cup of soups better because they do have the vegetables, and I think it does add a flavor when you get a pea here or a carrot there.
But this isn't nearly as salty tasting, I don't think. Because sometimes you get one and they're super salty. These aren't that salty,
No.
which I like.
No, the broth is actually really good. I do. This one's good. They're actually really good. And for the same price, I'll definitely I would get these again.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I mean, back in the day, you know, ramen noodle used to be cheap.
It still is, but it's not as cheap.
It was like $8 for $1 cheap though.
I always think of that, and it's like, oh yeah, because you get paid more money, right? So they raise everything or whatever. But I never understood it. If you could sell it at one point for super duper cheap, why wouldn't you keep selling it for super duper cheap?
Yeah.
I understand you want to make more money since people are making more money, but just make it like the 2 cents.
It used to be. I want to say if you got beef or chicken, then again, back in the day, it wasn't called ramen noodle either. So now I'm dating myself. So anyone who's old like me, you'll remember this. It was called oodles and noodles. So the only real competition oodles and noodles had back in the day was Lipton noodle soup. Now, I've made a few. Lipton in Stars or Lipton vegetable soup that had the ABCs in it. The noodles were insignificant. In fact, when we make it today, we put in a small macaroni so that it
like
almost...
ditalini.
Yeah, it's almost like not soup anymore. It turns into a macaroni for him because he's not a huge soup fan, but he likes eating the noodles with the flavor.
I do.
Which I will say, these noodles did a great job sucking up the flavor because I never really noticed that in the cheaper brand. I don't want to call them the cheaper brand, but the other regular ramen, I don't notice the noodles sucking up the flavor as much as these did. These really sucked in.
And we didn't let this sit at all. We took it. It was boiling. We put them in the bowls. We made it messy, and then we brought them up here.
Made a mess, brought it up. It does have a back. I'm trying to get what that secondary flavor is on my tongue, and I don't know if it's the vegetables.
I know what you're talking about.
There's like another little flavor that I'm getting. This is actually really good.
It's really good.
I do think this to me, I can honestly say it's like a superior ramen soup compared to the regular top ramen. Like it tastes a lot better to me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't doctor this at all. And normally if I do eat it, I'll throw all kinds of stuff in it. To include hot dogs or pepperoni or something, and make a whole meal out of it. And this is actually really good just on its own.
I think that was a little meat bit.
There was little beef that came in the
vegetable packet, right? Yeah.
I'm making a mess of myself.
Pretty good.
No, I'm actually really liking this. This is actually a really good ramen noodle. But back in the day, I don't know if I finished my story. It was called Oodles and Noodles. So when that first came out, it was like, wow, look at all the noodles, So when you can have like a chicken flavored soup, but it was all the ramen noodles. So it was just actually filling. Because we always did the same thing as, when my father would make it, as something quick. We used to eat it for breakfast. If you're doing a Lipton noodle soup,
you put
he would throw in elbow macaroni because they didn't have like 6 billion, or if they did, we didn't ever get it. In my house, it was either elbows, shells, rigatoni.
No farfalle?
No, there was none of that stuff. There was the elbows, shells, and I don't know if they had it back then. And I mean, again, we weren't rich, we were poor, so you got what you got. But as a tradition, a lot of meals can be made with elbows or shells.
Yeah.
Rigatoni every once in a while, but we didn't even get that because, again, my father wasn't a huge pasta fan. He liked spaghetti.
This tastes really good.
It is good. Which I'm actually shocked you're liking the broth of it.
Yeah, I don't normally like
you,
it. That's the thing. You wait.
It is very good. And it has a nice spice. It's making your nose run, right? Because
Yeah.
I had said that. And I didn't put anything in it. And I could feel it on my tongue a little bit. And I could feel it on the... and if it hits you in the back of the throat, you're like, ooh.
You're like, ah.
But normally when I eat a ramen noodle, I have that because I have a little bit left of my crushed red pepper that I made that was just straight habaneros that I grind up and I dry them and make a crushed red pepper back when I had a garden. So when you put that in there, I usually get my nose running and all the stuff with it. But this is doing it on its own. Like we didn't put anything.
And it has a really good taste. I love the vegetables. I love that they threw it in there.
And I think that's a secondary flavor I'm tasting. It actually tastes like like it has a nice spice. Yeah, that's when it hits you in the back of the throat. Yeah. And it has like
a great taste.
And there's a little beef nugget that he was talking about. And it has like the beef broth flavor, but there's like I think I can taste like a vegetable flavor in the back. It is definitely because that's the one thing, and sometimes it's my own fault because I'll put too much water and I'll put a bunch. And actually, one of my favorite things is to get extra sharp cheese and melt a piece of extra sharp cheese.
He does do it. I don't like it.
I love it like that, and then it's melty on the top, and
I don't
love it like that. But so I make a whole project out of my ramen noodle when I actually have it, and I don't have it often, but when I do have it, it's like. You know, all of a sudden I'm like, ooh, I feel like a ramen, and then it's a whole thing. You know, I make a whole scene out of it.
He doesn't have it too often, though.
No, I don't. I used to a lot when, like I told you, when I first moved out and I was a single by myself and I was living on my own. You know, who's gonna cook a big spaghetti dinner? You know what I mean? So I'd have a little ramen. I just doctor it up, and I'm good to go. Have some chips and salsa later, and I was a happy camper. But
a happy camper.
Happy camper. But all in all, this is actually very good. So if you've never seen them like us, they're not in our Walmart. That is, they're not with all the other ramen noodles.
They're always in a different section.
It was the same. It's funny because it's where I found
They have the Taco Bell sauce
stuff. Yep.
They have Pocky.
They have the Pockies there.
Shin ramen. There's like it's
like an ethnics.
It's like every section. They have everything that doesn't pay to be in like the actual section.
No, they have it's like Asian and Spanish. Like it's like an ethnic section of Walmart where they sell different stuff. And when I was down looking at the Pockies, he's yelling Shin ramen, Shin ramen. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then it was like above my head, way in the back again,
right next to the sandwich thing.
Yeah, it was like it was like hidden, and I was like, oh, like, how much is it? I was like, who cares? Get it, you know, because I've never had them and I've heard about them. Mm-hmm. And they are. This is very good. It is. It's spicy, you know,
and it's really good taste. I really like the taste.
I will say that for. Who was it? It was one of Mom's friend's daughters wanted to try the real spicy one. Mm-hmm. If she hasn't tried, who was it? Was it Jen's daughter? I don't remember.
Yeah,
Gwen. So if you haven't tried one of these, Gwen, go out and try that to start.
Yeah.
Because these are definitely, because I heard you like the spicy one. This so far out of the other ones, not the main one what we have. We still have, I still got one left. I'm eventually want Ryan to go back and try to do the one he didn't complete.
Out of the few ramen videos we've done.
Yeah.
This is probably one of the best.
You like it better than the real hot one because it has a nice flavor.
No, I think I like the flavor of the real hot one better, but it's real hot.
It's hot.
And but that's the funny part.
Yeah.
I really like the flavor of this. I don't think I like it as much.
The thing I like about this one is it's a soup.
Yeah.
Where the other one was actually a hot sauce.
I think that's why I like it more.
The other one was actually a hot sauce.
Whenever I make my ramen, I don't eat it with a soup.
He eats it like a noodle.
I eat the noodle with like the flavor.
Yeah, we cook up the noodles and then he puts the flavor packet, not all of it, but and I mix it up for him, and he eats it like more like a noodle, like a side dish, as opposed to like I like it like a soup. So to me, this one's really good because it is still a soup, and as you can, if you go back and watch the other videos, we did a couple microwavable ones that were decent.
Yeah.
Not nearly as spicy as this. Decent flavor though. And but he wouldn't eat the soup out of all of them. He threw them away. He's actually eating the actual broth.
No,
of
this
one.
is really good.
Broth is delicious. It really
This
is.
is
It is for a ramen noodle. Oh, I don't even know if it's called ramen noodle because it looks. That's the type of noodle it is.
Yeah.
So, it's a Shin
Shin
noodle.
ramen.
It's a Shin ramen. So, but the flavor on this seems to have a depth where the other one just seems like a salty water. And this one seems like it has.
It's not that salty.
It has an actual taste. It
I like
really
it a
does.
lot.
Yeah, I think it's better. Right in the back of the throat.
It has the vegetables. It has the
I'd be
meat
interested.
chunks.
I never compared it, and if it has the same amount of salt, it doesn't taste it. If it
No,
does,
it does not taste it, which is always good.
It was a hot one. Hit me right in the back of the throat, right there.
Because we're not too fans of salt.
No, and that's the one thing, and that's why when I make them, I'll put a big bowl like this, and I'll fill it up with more water, and then I'll put like onion and garlic powder and stuff like that to try to dilute, because I find sometimes if you make it exactly the right way, and even like the way he eats it, where he just sprinkles on the flavoring. If you use the whole packet on one, it just seems way too salty for me. So like even when I do it for him,
That's
ever
why I
since he
said
was kid,
we used the whole packet in this.
Yeah.
We did.
Yes.
Normally we don't.
Well, I do when I
You
make a
do,
soup, but
but
I
you
make
make
a
it like
ton.
double the water,
Yeah,
so-
exactly. And when I make it for just noodles for him, I'll do like a half a packet.
I'm full. It was pretty yummy.
I mean, that's the one thing about eating it as a soup. With that much broth, it kind of fills you up. And that's why, like, when he eats it, there's times, then again, if you watch the chicken nugget thing, Ryan can eat when he wants to eat. And there's times where he'll be like, oh, I want 2 of them. So I'll cook 2 up at the same time.
I think my record was 4.
No, I don't think you've ever ate 4. But
I was going to eat a
eats.
4th.
Yeah.
You said I was
So
going to get
usually
sick.
with 2,
That's
I'll make
yeah.
it, and it's a good pile of pasta, and he'll usually eat that, and I'll make some snacklets or something like that with it. But
Snacklets.
Usually.
We should do a snacklet
No,
review.
he wants a snacklet review. But so that being said, this was actually very good. So if you've never had it like us, if you can find the Shin ramen. And I don't know if they have different flavors. This one came
It's really good.
like this. I think they have a variety of flavors. Ours is it a beef flavored? It just says spicy.
Yeah, it's I don't know if they have flavors.
Yeah, I don't know if they have flavors or not.
I don't know.
This one just says spicy on it.
And it's good.
I recommend this one if you like. I got the hiccups now. If you like a little bit of a spice.
Yep, and you like ramen.
And you like
The
ramen.
noodles were excellent.
I think they had a little more of a. They were a little bit bigger. They weren't as big as the.
But the best part is they
expensive one.
sucked up the flavor.
It did.
And that's something I miss when you eat like the 90-cent ones.
Yeah, because I eat it the same way, but I don't ever notice it really sucking up that flavor. But as you were just eating the noodles, it really did.
That's why
take
I
up.
eat it with the powders, because I like the powdered taste. I wish it was less salty, but I like whatever the powder is.
One of these days, I'd like to go to a real
Like a real ramen place.
a real ramen place, like a real noodle shop that makes we've seen one on that Diners, Divers and Drive. That guy made his own thing, and get one of them. What is it?
Like the big
What
bowls.
is it? Pho or pho or pho, whatever it is, where it has all the vegetables
Like
and
vegetables and
clear liquid
Yeah.
in the noodles. One of these days, I'd love to go to a real noodle shop like that. I've never
That would
been to
be
one,
fun.
and actually get like a bowl of it to try what a real ramen should taste like. But as a substitute and as a quick fix, this is really good. It's done in like 3 minutes. You know what I mean? As soon as it comes to a boil, the macaroni's almost cooked if you throw it in right away.
it's 4 minutes, it says on the package.
Yeah, and it's done. And but this one's actually really good. When we seen it, I said, "No, we got to get it." I did more than whether you want to watch it. We wanted to eat this one. This was one of the ones, and we've had it for ever since we went shopping a while ago. And I kept saying, "You want to do it yet? You want to?" Because I really wanted to try it. And honestly, this has a nice little spice to it. Like this will make your nose water a little bit. And if you don't eat spicy, you'll think it's hot. Like it has a decent little bite to it. So. That being said, I guess we can end it here. It's a nice short video for once. Unlike the other day, you got 2 videos. Today, we'll give you a nice short one. But again, it's Shin Ramen. It looks like the real hot one. I got excited, and it has a nice spice to it.
It's really tasty.
Yeah, it is good. It is really.
Thank
good.
you, whoever made it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this.
No, it is. It is definitely Out of all the ramen, and I like all the ramen flavors.
I
This
want to
is
know what
one
it's
of them.
like without the soup. If you just put the packet on, I want to know if it tastes good.
Well, we got one left because it came in a 4-pack, so
Uh-huh.
you could try it that way. But you know, it is good. It is good. So again, you know,
It's relatively cheap. It's like $3, I think.
yeah, for
the
4 of
package.
them. For 4 of them, I didn't
Which
see a
is pretty
single.
fun. It's
Yeah.
like buy 3 get 1 free.
Yeah, yeah. So you know, again, if you see it, we stumbled on it. So good luck because it wasn't in our store. And if there are other flavors, leave a comment down below because maybe if we do see another flavor or if you've tried it and you like it, you know, we can always give that a try too. But I definitely recommend the picante, the spicy one, because it's actually really good. So I guess that's our review. So like and subscribe and leave a comment down below.